So recently, Apple announced that they have a brand new system called Apple Pay Later. Now, Apple Pay Later, as you know, the name suggests, is an extension to the current Apple Pay system where you are allowed to purchase an item and pay for it over 4 monthly installments. Now, I'm not sure why they really felt that they needed to apply muscle to the buy now, pay later crowd. Because the thing about it is, with Apple Pay, you're basically already buying now and paying later. The only difference between using this and using Apple Pay is that you're stretching it out to 4 monthly payments rather than simply paying the balance monthly. If you purchase Apple products tend to have some type of payment plan already attached to Apple Pay. So if you buy a new MacBook Air or a new MacBook or a new Mac Pro or something like that, or even a new iPhone, they already have a payment strategy there to handle that. So this, to me, is nothing more than a way of them flexing their muscle and basically taking down other companies such as Affirm, which consequently has lost a considerable amount of their stock value in the recent days since Apple announced Apple Pay Later. In fact, over this year, Affirm has lost over 75% of their stock value. And considering how bad this economy actually is, and considering the number of people who are being forced to buy now and pay later and use credit cards for simple purchases, it seems to me there's no reason why you should be losing that kind of business right now. In fact, right now, you should be doing very well getting people to sign up for your credit system. Okay, so as you may know, Apple is releasing its own version of buy now, pay later. So I was looking at a couple of articles that came out to talk about it. And one of them was MarketWatch, which gave a few reasons why you should think twice before signing up. So first of all, let's understand what buy now, pay later is. Buy now, pay later is basically a way of financing a purchase. And by financing, I mean whatever you purchase, you're splitting up the actual purchase into 4 installments over a certain period of time. So you're making installments on buying something. Now, first of all, Americans are pretty much already used to that. We don't buy houses in cash because we don't have that much money. We don't buy cars in cash because we don't have that much money. So we end up taking 30-year fixed mortgage for a house or a 20-year or 10-year. And when it comes to cars, we usually end up between 6, 7, or possibly 8, 9. And in recent years, we've had even 12-year financing, 144 months. So Americans are pretty much used to deferred payments. We're used to it. Now, the smart ones of us have understood how we avoid paying interest by using a credit card as a tool to purchase things without having to walk around with wads of cash. Those of us who aren't so smart, poorly educated, lower income, mostly have horrible credit scores, and our credit scores being basically a way of judging our behavior with credit for the banks when they go through the underwriting process. And, at this point, Americans, and I'm not going to blame them all, but some Americans have become so stressed economically, especially with gas prices where they are, food prices where they are, baby formula unavailable. A lot of us are using credit cards just to buy basic groceries. A lot of us are using credit cards just to pay for gas each week. A lot of us are using credit cards just to pay for basic services that we need that we normally wouldn't be able to pay for. Now, I have made numerous videos about proper use of credit, how to maximize your credit. I have an 850 score across the board. My credit is basically perfect. I show it off every chance I get. The only way I was able to get there was by keeping $0 revolving balances. So I pay off my credit card every single night. I don't even wait till the end of the month. I pay it off every single night. If you do that, you will see major changes in your credit score. You will see it go up. On top of that, I purchase just about everything on my credit card. I even put my bills on my credit card. So as soon as the bill is paid, then I pay it right off on the credit card. So I net the points. When you net points, it's not just about getting reward points. What you're doing is you're getting between 1% and 3% cash back. That's what you're ultimately doing. And if you spend money on cash, and by the way, I've railed about this numerous times, there are some seriously old school people who don't understand this system who are online. There are people who tell you should buy everything in cash. That is the stupidest way that you can buy things now in this day and age. The smartest way you can do it is to pay for it with a credit card and then pay the credit card balance off. In order to make the best of that, you have to have a credit card that gives you either cash back directly or gives you some type of rewards program. The problem is that there's a lot of people who don't pay the money back immediately. What they do is they wait till the end of the month, or they allow that balance to roll over past a month and they end up paying interest. That's the problem. It's not that people have credit cards, it's that they misuse them. It takes discipline and it takes foresight to understand how to properly use it. So anyway, Apple has what's called Apple Card. Apple Card is basically run by Goldman Sachs. Apple Card itself is a product that goes into iOS devices, your Apple Watch, your Apple phone, your Apple iPad, and whatnot. Even your iPod, I believe, has it. And now they're trying to muscle into the buy now, pay laters by what they're doing is they're basically making it so that you can buy just about anything, pay no interest, and all you have to do is make installments on whatever you're buying. Now, I'll tell you just like this, in full disclosure, I use my Apple Card to manage the warranties on my cars. I use my Capital One Venture for just about everything else, but when I have cars that need extended warranties, that's what I'll do. I'll buy it on my Apple Card, and then I pay it off immediately, so this way there's no interest charges. As long as I avoid paying interest, it's all good. So they say buy now, pay later startups offer a simple product, at least on the surface. A consumer who uses the product to make a purchase can divide the cost into 4 smaller installments. Buy now, pay later companies have partnerships with an ever-growing number of retailers, from American Airlines to Rite Aid. First of all, American Airlines fucking sucks. I hate American air carriers in general, but American Airlines sucks specifically. If I could get on Emirates, or if I can get on Etihad, or if I can get on Asiana to fly anywhere in America, I absolutely would. I don't like American air carriers. They all suck. The service sucks. The food sucks. The drinks, it all sucks. Here I am sitting on an Emirates flight that was $5,000 plus the tax with the what was it called? The tax and the insurance. And I'm sitting on this flight sipping champagne out of a nice glass. I got all these nice silverwares and everything. You can watch the video yourself. You go on American Airlines, these motherfuckers give you beer in a plastic cup and they call that a drink service. Hells no. No. So anyway, Rite Aid, which vastly expands the number of stores a user can visit to use the pay later service. The companies make money by charging these merchants a fee on every purchase. Basically, the more rewards you get out of your card, usually the higher the fees there are, and also the higher the fees that have to be subsidized by the other card holders who are running high balances. That's where your rewards come from. They come from people who don't pay their bills on time. Usually you're talking about low-income people, or you may be talking about high-income people who just don't give a fuck. There's a lot of people who earn between $250,000 a year and even $500,000 a year as a couple, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. So don't think that just because people make a lot of money, don't think that they're financially wise. A lot of these people really aren't. So anyway, already a red-hot product, the entry of a tech behemoth like Apple is likely to set off a wild surge in interest in buy now, pay later. Apple's buy now, pay later product is powered by MasterCard Network and will be available whenever Apple Pay is available. Now, this is one of the reasons why I told you back in 2020 to take out stock in MasterCard and Visa. But while you were busy buying your cryptocurrencies and watching your money evaporate, well, now you know. So anyway, Apple did not respond immediately to a request for comment on its Buy Now, Pay Later program. Prior to Apple's announcement, more than 10% of U.S. adults surveyed by the Fed in 2021 said that they had used a Buy Now, Pay Later service in the last year. 78% did so out of convenience, 53% did so to avoid using a credit card. Now, in my opinion, if you did it right, it actually makes more sense to use the credit card. The problem was they were really planning on stretching out their payments for those 4 months. If you had done it with the credit card, you would have actually gotten cash back. But the only problem is you would have had to pay it back immediately so that you didn't have to pay interest. So, buy now, pay later was more common among people with lower incomes and less educated. I love the poorly educated. They're the smartest people. They're the most loyal people. Okay. So here's some reasons why you might want to think about doing it. And they give you 4 reasons. Number 1, interest-free installments do not mean buy now, pay later is cheaper. By splitting a payment into 4 and making it an expensive item cheaper and more manageable by paying in installments, there's a potential danger of overspending. Okay, so basically what they're saying is if you can split up payments, chances are instead of buying an item that's $100, you're going to overspend and buy an item that was more than $100. Maybe you'll buy an item that's $150. This is especially true when you're talking about these televisions and you're talking about electronic devices. When you go into these stores and you see a 70-inch television for $500, but you see a 75-inch television for $699, chances are you're going to go for the 75-inch. These people understand human psychology. They know how you think. They know how you work. They know how much money you have. They know how you are likely to spend the money you have. That is the reason why you're so deep in debt and your student loans are literally crushing you. That's the reason why right now you're probably living in your parents' basement or your daddy's attic, your mommy's basement or your daddy's attic, and you don't have an apartment and you don't have a house. That's probably the reason, because you're drowning in debt. They understood that you were just willing to sign on the dotted line because you wanted what you wanted when you wanted it. You were willing to buy it immediately, whether you had the money to pay for it or not. You just have to be careful not to overspend, because $50 here and $50 there can really add up. Yeah, it adds up to $100. That's right. Okay, so anyway, using buy now, pay later for essential goods could be a sign of financial distress. Now, this is something I talked about when I was explaining credit cards to people, but I've noticed from the views that my videos explaining credit cards don't get a lot of views. You know why? It's because the YouTube algorithm would rather prop up these fucking fake-ass crypto gurus, and they would rather prop up these fakes on the internet who are selling programs and courses, and they're making you pay them for bullshit information that you could have just gotten off of the internet for free, and they're calling it a course. Some people have even recommended to me that I start courses. I would rather just give the information to people for free. But what's funny about it is a lot of people really aren't listening. You're more interested in wasting money. And the only time you try to even do things like repair your credit is when you know that you've been told no when you try to buy something, or you've been told that you're going to get a ridiculously high interest rate. Now you're trying to figure out a way to get around it, but you can't. So, I've been giving out free game for years. Free game for years. Never made anybody pay me. But that's just where we are. So anyway, the banks watch your spending. If you're spending $3 or $4 on a credit card and allowing that bill to roll into a revolving balance, and let's say you're buying bread and milk on a credit card, the banks take a look at that and they're like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Why the fuck is this person buying bread and milk on a credit card? Now, if you're like me and you purchase all your groceries on a credit card, but you pay it off immediately, the bank recognizes that and they're like, oh, okay, this person is using his credit card as a tool and he's paying off the bill immediately in order to avoid having a revolving balance. But when they see somebody who's running up balances and buying common items, food, coffee every day from Starbucks and those Au Bon Pain and whatnot, or if they see you constantly wasting money and you're just buying stuff and you're running up revolving balances, the bank is most likely to notice that, and they're going to treat it as if you're a debt threat or a subprime borrower. Now, that only really happens if you don't pay it back in time. But if you do pay it back in time, the bank will actually allow you to raise your limit, and you'll be fine. So what it says, there's also potential for deferring payments unnecessarily, particularly for essential goods, which could become a Band-Aid that masks bigger financial problems. First of all, one of the greatest ways to get your credit score knocked down is to start spending a lot of money on credit cards very quickly. That tells the bank that there's something wrong. Like if I have a bunch of credit cards and each one has a $10,000 limit, and I suddenly go out and max out each credit card, bank's going to be like, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. This person's maxing out their credit, and it's very possible they just lost their job and they're buying up all this stuff with no intention of paying it back. Most likely what will happen is the bank will quickly limit your credit, and they won't, first of all, they're not going to allow you to raise your credit so that you have a higher limit. And they'll also not allow you to take out any new credit cards. They're not going to allow you to do it because they're going to be like, wait a minute, wait. Something's wrong with this guy. I think this guy just lost his job, and I think this guy is just going on a spending spree, and he has no intention of paying us back. So, yeah, they are paying very close attention to you. They really are. It says, if a buy now, pay later user is spreading out payments over 6 weeks, it just worries me. If you can't afford the gas now, because in 6 weeks you're going to need more gas. Exactly. It's like when somebody comes to you and tries to borrow money. I've had people try to borrow money from me, and I'm like, first of all, I don't want to lend. There's certain amounts of money I just don't want to lend. If somebody's coming to you for $500 or $1,000, that just tells you that they're doing something really wrong. And most of us know people who are wasting money and buying stupid shit, and then they come to you looking for cash. And I'm like, nah, I'm not even doing that. Now, in my case, it's kind of hard to tell people, yeah, you're broke when you're pulling up in luxury cars and you're going on fucking luxury vacations. When somebody watches you go to Maldives on fucking business class on Emirates, you're pretty much, people notice right away. They're like, wait a minute, this motherfucker's got money. My neighbors think I'm a drug dealer. They really do. I'm not a drug dealer. I've never dealt any drugs. I've never done anything felonious. But my neighbors think I'm a drug dealer. Like, they see you pulling up in cars, and they're like, wait a minute. Yo, this guy's got money. And then they try to, feel you out. They were like, we were just wondering if we could get invited in. We'd like to see how you live and everything. Just see how you're doing. Get to meet the name. And they're basically feeling you out because they're like, I think I can get some money out of this person. Or what about these people who are renting out basements and shit, and they're looking at, like, these women specifically, and they're looking at you like, wait a minute, this guy's got his own house. Well, shit. How come he's got his own house and I'm living in mommy's basement? Man, maybe I should hook up with him. It's like, no. Don't shit where you eat. Keep your neighbors across the street. Y'all stay over there. I say hi to you in the morning. I say hi to you when I come home. Other than that, I don't talk to your ass. No, don't shit where you eat. Stay over there. So anyway, buy now, pay later could potentially affect your credit score. Well, fucking obviously, of course. Missing a buy now, pay later payment may not incur the same penalties as missing a credit card payment. Late fees are not substantial as of now, but with credit bureaus looking at your buy now, pay later and thinking of how to account for them in users' credit scores, there is potential for some damage to occur to your credit score in the near future. It hasn't happened yet, but TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian are all monitoring the buy now, pay later space to understand how it works and how to incorporate it into mainstream credit scores, according to their websites. Basically, buy now, pay later is what we've been doing all along with these credit cards. We're spending money, we're buying stuff, and, paying it back whenever we, get the money. Now, credit is out of control at this point. You've got people with these student loans that exceed $50,000, exceed $100,000. And this generation is so strapped in credit card debt that they can't afford to buy things like cars and definitely not houses. Not only that, they can't afford to buy apartments because most of them don't have the down payment. And then, God forbid, the landlord does a credit check. They realize right away, it's like, wait a minute, this person's not creditworthy. I'm not letting you in here because all you're going to do is be a squatter. So they don't want to let you in, which is something I want to talk about a little bit later. But anyway, it says the Fed survey said that most people who use buy now, pay later make payments on time. Late payments, however, were more common among those who made less than $50,000 a year. Obviously, because, if you're making less than $50,000 a year, I mean, what are you getting per check? You're probably getting what, like $1,600? Well, if you spend enough money, it's hard to pay it back. So signing up for that buy now, pay later service on your iPhone could potentially ding your credit score if you miss enough payments. But see, again, it's if you miss payments. If you're so disciplined that you miss no payments and you pay early, you're fine. The good news, the good times may not last forever for buy now, pay later users. Finally, there is a risk of buy now, pay later companies changing tack because offering zero cost installment loans amid an inflationary backdrop could become costly and hence short lived. First of all, one thing I got to say about Apple, especially considering they deal with Goldman Sachs, and Goldman, you got to remember, Apple's not taking the risk here. It's Goldman Sachs taking the risk and MasterCard, but it's specifically Goldman Sachs because that's actually the bank. But the thing that you have to understand is they vet you pretty well. They're not going to give you a limit that they don't think that you can handle. I mean, I make over $200,000 a year, and they've given me an Apple Card limit of just under $15,000. So I guess they realize, like, if I asked them for more money, like if I said, yeah, I want to buy a Mac Pro or some shit, and this thing costs $20,000 to build, I'm pretty sure they would extend my limit to cover that item. But for the most part, it's like they're not going to just willy-nilly give you crazy amounts of credit without vetting you to some extent. They do a background check. They do a social security number check when you signed up for it. So they know who you are. It's not like you can hide it. If they did a social security check on me and they know that I have an 850 credit score, for the most part, they're going to understand right away, okay, this guy knows how to manage his money. So he's not going to screw us up. And if he does, we're going to charge him so many fees up his ass until he's not going to be able to afford to drive anything. He's probably going to have to walk to work. So anyway, rising rates have already affected the housing market, of course, and credit cards. If buy now, pay later providers were to continue offering zero cost installment loans, consumers could potentially turn to them to make bigger and riskier purchases. But that's no different than what we've been doing. Since 2001, the Federal Reserve had lowered interest rates to zero, basically, or very, very low or abnormally low. And over that time, look what we've done. We've run up bubbles in everything. We've run up bubbles in the housing market. We've run up bubbles in the credit market. We've created a subprime loan market. I mean, this is not new. This is not new at all. Consider this, about 3.7% of outstanding loan dollars at buy now, pay later Affirm were already at least 30 days late at the end of March, which is up 1.4% from a year earlier. The Wall Street Journal has reported losses in part related to late payments were also rising for Affirm and also for Zip. Affirm said the increase in late payments was related to looser underwriting standards. Zip said some of its losses were related to companies it acquired in 2021. Now, let me just say this about Affirm. When I was going on my vacation, I had a chance to use Affirm because Expedia offers you the ability to sign up immediately for Affirm when you're, putting together a vacation package. So here I am facing spending of about $7,000, and they give you the Affirm option. Now, I had actually started to sign up for it, and when I did, and I saw Affirm show me what the installments would be, what I realized was, first of all, I was going to get charged, interest on my purchase. And not only that, I wasn't going to get anything back. I wasn't going to get any rewards. I wasn't going to get any points. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to use Affirm. I'm just going to pay on my credit card, and then what I'll do is I'll pay it off with cash. And then what I'll do is take the points that I got from paying it off, and I'll use those points towards paying down the balance after I go on the trip. So basically, when I went on my trip to Maldives, and I'm going to basically do the same thing when I go to Bora Bora, but when I went on my trip to Maldives, any payments that I incurred during the trip, like if I bought food or snacks, or if I bought jet ski rentals or whatever, what I did was I paid it off using the points. I paid for my resort using the points. So basically, I spent money that I got as a reward for spending money that I had to spend anyway. When I use my credit card, I use my credit card for every single purchase: gas, food, oil deliveries to my house, whatever. When my tenants in my other house need something like air conditioning units, I've made so many videos about this. When they need pipes fixed, I use my credit card to pay for all of it, and then I suck up the points and I pay no interest because I pay it off immediately. So the bottom line is I'm getting between 1% and 3% cash back for doing spending I had to do anyway. I had no choice. I had to do that spending. If I have to get repairs on my car, I do my credit card. My problem with buy now, pay later is it doesn't offer anything back. All it does is allow you to change the payment plan and split it up. Now they do say you can pay zero interest as long as you make the payments on time, you make the installments on time. But ultimately, it doesn't give you anything back. And that's the reason why I wouldn't personally use buy now, pay later. When I use my Capital One Venture card, I can get between 1.7 and 3% cash back. And if you shop in stores that they tell you that you should shop in, because they actually have a long list of these stores, I could even show you that right now. If you shop in specific stores, you get up to whatever percent cash back for shopping in specific stores with your Capital One Venture. Or if you use the Apple Card, they tell you too. But buy now, pay later gives you nothing. And that's the reason why I personally don't see this. Right here is Capital One's earn credits for shopping system. So as you can see, they allow you to see all available offers right here. If you use Expedia, they give you up to 5% back. That could be anything between, 1 and 5%. But if you use Expedia, which I do, you can get up to 5% back. If you use Apple products and you buy Apple products with your Capital One Venture, you get 3% back. Home Depot, 3% back. Advanced Auto Parts, 8% back. Grubhub, up to 10% back. Up to $162 from Xfinity. I don't use them. Hurt, 6%. You get the picture. If you shop where your credit card tells you to shop, you can get decent amounts of money back. The key for me is to only spend money that I needed to spend anyway. And as long as you do that, like you see Orbitz is 5% back right there. As long as you do that, as long as you shop normally, even Skechers, 6% back. I like Skechers. I buy Skechers sneakers. They feel very comfortable to drive in. Oh, look at this. Paula's Choice Skincare, 16% back. They must be charging a lot of money for nothing. Home Shopping Network, H&M. I don't shop there. Forever 21, I don't shop there either. Foot Locker, 3%. So the bottom line is you get my point. And there's a lot. Lego, 4% back. There's a lot of stores. And there's a lot of discounts that you can save money on when you get these points for your Capital One Venture card, as you can see. There's a lot of different stores, some of which I've never even heard of. Some of them I've heard of, some of them I haven't. Coach, you can get 5% back, like if I wanted to buy a bag for my mom for her birthday or something. I think it was her Christmas, yes, we got her a Coach bag and we gave her cash money. How about that? Aren't we good children? So Belova, I don't shop with them. I just recognize, Whirlpool, 10% back. That's nice. Ray-Ban, 7% back. That's nice. AT&T, $50 back. But they want you to buy that fucking shit. DirecTV, I'm not buying it. It sucks. Citizen watches, I buy Citizen watches, but I haven't bought anything lately because I have Apple Watch. And I have a couple of Citizen EcoDrive Skyhawks. But yeah, as you see the point, like they have a very, very long list of possible ways you could save money by doing regular shopping you would have done anyway. Very, very nice. Oh, Samsung, look at that, 2% back on those crappy Galaxy Android phones. Timex, nobody buys that anymore. Zales, well, considering most men aren't getting married anymore because the women are completely like adverse to marriage. You could ask Michael B. Jordan. It's like the women are for the streets now. In America, like if you get yourself a foreign wife, that changes. But I'm just saying the American women are mostly for the streets. I don't foresee myself getting that 8% back in sales because, I don't foresee buying any wedding rings. Most men now are actually single, unmarried, and childless, believe it or not. And they wonder why there's so many men out there causing so much violence. Well, guess what? It's called anomy. It means that those men have nothing vested in society at all. Our only job is basically to spend money, buy toys, have fun, and that's it. We don't have children, we don't have wives, so we're not contributing at all besides our work. And that's just how it works. Western Digital, 8%. Oh, that's nice. K Jewelers, nah, I'm not buying any wedding rings, as I just said. Let's see, what else? Ninja. Oh, I have a blender by Ninja. I wanted their coffee maker, maybe their cappuccino machine. I might get that. Let's see, Nautica, Inkbox. You see, there's a lot of different stores. Okay, Jewelers again. Nope. There's a lot of different stores that you can, save some money. Zales, shit, fuck that. So anyway, Reebok, Wolverine, yeah. Oh, Gerber, just in time for you not to be able to find baby formula for your starving infant. And by the way, the Gerber baby, the original Gerber baby, Ann Taylor Cook, just died at 95 years old. And that poor woman had to live to see what's happening now where you can't even find baby formula because there's a baby formula shortage. It's crazy. It's insane. I mean, this world is just turning itself inside out at this point. Let's see. DirecTV, no thank you. Your service is trash. Okay, wine shop. I don't drink wine that much unless I'm on a flight, so I don't need that. Wine is for these like single white females who don't have a man and they refuse to submit to Mr. Average. So they drink a lot of wine. They have boxes of wine, in fact. So yeah, there's a lot of stores here. Smashbox, I don't know who they are. Mega Food, I have no idea who that is. But there's lots and lots of stores. Olay, yeah, I recognize them. Lots and lots of stores. Dyson, too. They're very good. So, yes, if you use your credit card very well, you can save a lot of money doing shopping that you normally would have done anyway. Office Depot, they're very good. They're kind of like staples. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. You just have to have a good credit card and you have to have a plan. Don't think for even 1 second that I'm going to end this video without flexing my credit score. Of course I'm going to flex my credit score. 850, there you go. And this is according to experience data. As you can see, it's been at 850 for a while. I think the last time it dipped was September. I went down 849. So I went down by like 1 point. And I think that was because I had paid off a mortgage and they didn't like that. So they dropped me a point, but whatever. So as you can see, these are the things that you have to do in order to make sure your credit score looks like mine does. You have to have an excellent payment history. You have to have excellent current debt, which means none. Not like you people with all that student loan debt and you're trying to get PhDs and shit and wasting your money on these worthless degrees. Anyway, credit history, excellent. Look at that, excellent. The only thing that I'm not excellent in is new credit applications because I think I must have applied for something. I don't even know what it was. And then there's types of credit, excellent. Look at that, excellent. It says the reason why I'm not excellent is because you have 0 new credit applications within the last 1 year, 1 month. Hard inquiries can take a few points off your score temporarily, so you'll want to apply strategically. Kiss my ass. Okay, so then it says 1 year, 1 month, I had a new account. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been the oil company that I have. That's probably what it was. So that you see that? If I don't do anything else except do exactly what I'm doing, that very good is going to, in 1 year, that very good is going to change to an excellent. But here's the problem, though. When you have when you have an 850 credit score, there's nowhere to go. It's like when I go into the car dealership, like as you know, I'm purchasing a new Cadillac Lyric all-wheel drive. And from the looks of it, I might be able to cash out my oil stock since oil is going to basically run up this summer. I might be able to cash out enough oil stock to buy the car in cash. However, if I did buy the car in cash, I wouldn't buy it in cash. I'd buy it on credit and then I'd pay it off using the cash. So I get all those points. But of course, they're going to tack on like a 3 or a 5% fee. So that, that has to be considered. But when I go into these car dealerships, when I go looking for real estate, whatever, all I got to do is flash this. And they're like, wow, it doesn't even make any sense. How the fuck did you get an 850? And I just start explaining all the things that I'm explaining to you. And they're like, wow, that is just amazing. But see, who you won't see with an 850 credit score are these people who don't listen to me when I give them advice. And I'm telling them how to do it, but they don't listen. Like one person, not going to name names, didn't pay bills on time. And that person watched their credit score drop 200 points over the last year. And if that person had just done what I told them, oh man, they could have kept their credit score above 700. Unfortunately, they dipped down to 570 something? Tisk, tisk, tisk. So that's enough from me. I've explained what I feel about Apple's buy now, pay later system. So I feel all is right, and now I can go to bed.